Hi guys and welcome to today's video. If you don't know me already, my name's Lorraine, I'm 25, I'm a mum of one already to Penelope who is just turned 3 and I'm currently expecting baby number 2. I was doing weekly updates. Since 10 weeks I haven't really filmed just because everything's been a little up in the air and I just haven't really been in a place to want to film anything because at the time, as it was, that was probably the best thing for me to do, is just to take a step back and just concentrate on what was happening around me. So I'll do a really big recap on the last 8 weeks. I'm now 18 weeks pregnant, so we've got a lot to catch up on in the last 8 weeks. So starting back from week 10, I was suffering with sickness, but it kicked up a gear between week 10 and basically up until I was about 16 weeks pregnant. It was awful, literally so awful. I've never been so ill in my life. Some days I couldn't even really do anything. I couldn't parent, I couldn't be me, like I couldn't get dressed, and it was awful. I was sick a lot, like violently sick. And Reese, bless him, he's been really good with Penny, so he's been a bit of a godsend this pregnancy with all the sickness, and that is so different compared to my pregnancy with Penny. I really didn't suffer that bad with sickness. I was sick maybe once in the day, and as soon as I was sick in the morning it was done. I felt fine the rest of the day. But this time round I woke up feeling sick, I went to bed feeling sick, I woke up in the night feeling sick, and it just didn't stop. And it wasn't just feeling sick, I was sick a lot. I didn't really want to eat, I didn't enjoy food, anything that smelt would make me gag, and yeah, it was pretty rough. I'll talk a little bit about what scans we've been having these last few weeks, because we have had a few. So I'll start off with the 12-week scan. This is the picture, I hope you can see. So you can see pretty much all of the baby's features and everything in that picture, and I absolutely love it. And comparing it to Penny's scan picture, I think they look identical. I think I was 12 weeks and 5 days when I went for that scan by my dates, but my official due date changed to the 10th of January, which meant I was actually 13 weeks on the day of this scan. And what I wanted to show you as well, I'm not sure if I showed you it in my earlier updates, this was our first scan of this pregnancy. Tiny little baby just there. It's not even really a baby, it's basically just the yolk sac. So that is what they saw. If you watch back to my 6-week update that I put up recently, I was really upset in that video, and that is what we saw. And the lady was so lovely and let me have a picture, even though she said that they're not really supposed to and they don't really do that. She gave me a picture because I was just really upset. So I thought I would just add that in there, although that was back at like week 6. We then went for a private scan where we found out the baby's gender, but we did it in a bit of a different way. Basically, we went to Sainsbury's a little while before the scan. We picked up a unisex gift bag and a pink toy and a blue toy, so we brought those to the ultrasound scan and we gave them to the sonographer and said, we don't want you to tell us what the gender of the baby is, we want you to put whichever allocated toy into the bag, and then we'll take it home, we'll get Penny to open it, and then she can find out the gender. And we all found out at the same time with her as well. Her reaction of the gender wasn't exactly what we expected, but it was funny all the same, and definitely a memory that we want to hold on to. I will be sharing that video after I've put up the gender reveal. I'll just show you a couple of pictures that we got from the private scan, and this is a frontal face view, so I don't know if you can see. There's the baby's eyes, the mouth. She's basically facing us if you look into that picture there. And it does look a bit creepy. I do see a bit of a creepiness to this picture, but I love the thought that that's her face. Also, something else that has been happening, this is so TMI and I'm really not happy about sharing this, but I want to anyway because I just feel like it's probably really normal and nothing to be embarrassed about, but I have been quite embarrassed about it. I've been having so much like discharge, and it's not just like, you know, your white creamy discharge that, you know, every woman gets. I've spoken to the midwife and she said it's completely normal. It's like so TMI, like snot-like, as gross as that sounds, but I've had it since maybe week 10 onwards. I'm still having it now at 18 weeks, but it's a lot less than it was. But for a while there it was really quite grim. So yeah, I wonder if that carries on for much longer or if it just stops. I have bought a few bits now. Before we found out the gender, I bought a few unisex things which I'm going to do a haul on, which you'll see after this video. I've got some cute little things and they're all sitting in a drawer in the baby's room. I am, however, feeling the baby move. I first felt the baby move from about 14 weeks, which was really early. I didn't quite expect it that early. Penny, we started feeling movement from about 16 weeks, so I suppose that is early. And they always say, you know, you feel your second baby a bit sooner. So yeah, it was really nice to start feeling the baby move. I'm trying to think of everything lovely and nice before I start talking about some pretty rubbish things for this pregnancy, because week 16 to basically now, it's been not nice really, but I want to keep the good stuff coming first. Trying to think. It's just good not to be feeling sick and to be feeling baby move. It's really reassuring feeling baby move. So in week 16 I started to notice when I wiped that there was a bit of brown spotting mixed in with this horrible discharge that I had. I didn't really think anything of it because it was brown. It wasn't red and, you know, a lot of it or anything that would raise alarms in my head, and you know, I'm paranoid anyway. Any bleeding would make me paranoid, but for some reason a little bit of brown spotting didn't really raise any red flags for me. So I just sort of left it, and then a few days after that started happening, I started to get cramps and I started to get a bit uneasy then, and I was thinking, spotting, now I'm cramping, what's kind of going on? And then I think it was probably that evening where I started to get a bit suspicious that I started bleeding, like red blood clots, and it was just a worry then. I was thinking, okay, flags are going off now, something doesn't quite feel right, this shouldn't really be happening. So I called the ward. It was basically 1 in the morning basically, and she said if it gets worse go straight to A&E, but see how you are in the morning, and then if you're still concerned then go to A&E. So Reese had planned to take Penny on this lovely father-daughter day, and I didn't really want to let her down and things, so I said to Reese, you know, still go and do your day and I'll ring my mum and she can come to the hospital with me. So that's what we did. Mum came with me and we went to A&E, they booked me in, went straight through to the resus room actually, but it was only because it was quiet in there. They did blood work, they stuck a cannula in case I needed like pain medication, or they needed more bloods and stuff. And they did like my blood pressure and everything like that. I was then sent up to the ward, I think it was ward 34, and they did an internal. I had a urine test done. In the urine test they said they found a couple of white blood cells in my urine, but they couldn't confirm that it was or wasn't a urine infection because I'd had no other symptoms, and I don't think there was enough in my urine to say yes, it's a urine infection. Oh, just pulling up my maternity trousers. Oh, right, anyway, so out of breath. So yeah, they couldn't really confirm whether or not I had a urine infection, and apparently if you have a urine infection it can cause irritation to the uterus, which would explain bleeding, which I found really interesting because I had no idea about that. Because they couldn't confirm it, they said, well, we'll put you on some antibiotics anyway.
And have I got the, I think it was amnioxin, blah blah blah.
So they started me on that for, I think it was 5 days, 3 a day. So I took those, and they also did an internal. They said the cervix was closed, which is really good. That's sort of the main thing that I wanted to hear. So we went away, we went home. He said, you know, if you do start bleeding again and it gets worse and you're worried, then come back to A&E and we'll, you know, look into things again. They didn't scan me at this trip to the hospital. They said, you know, because you are 16 weeks, there's nothing we can do anyway at this stage. So if it was, you know, what it may be, then there's nothing we can do anyway. And they did well say it could be the start of a miscarriage, and obviously hearing that after having 3 miscarriages anyway, it was just like alarm bells went off and I was just like, I'm losing this baby. And it was just horrible, because that's what I thought it was. If they couldn't confirm it was a urine infection, then that's what it had to be. That's in my head, that's what was happening. Yeah, so he said the best thing I could do is basically to rest. I didn't do anything for about a week. Bless everyone around me. They were being really good with Penny. My mum came round one day. Reese had to take a couple of days off work, and just, yeah, Reese's mum and dad had her overnight one night, and just everyone was being really, really lovely about just making sure that I was resting. And then over the week the cramping stopped after about 3 or 4 days, thank goodness, because they were really horrendous cramps. I started to get them in my lower back. They were right down like bad menstrual cramps, and they were coming regularly, like every 5 to 20 minutes, all night, all day. They were really intense, and I had to have paracetamol for the pain. And me to take paracetamol during pregnancy isn't, you know, a thing, because I don't like taking medication when I'm pregnant. I will take paracetamol if I absolutely need to. So for me to take paracetamol for pain was quite a big thing, because I wouldn't normally take anything. So thankfully, as I said, the cramping started to ease and it stopped, and then over the next couple of days the bleeding was still there, and in fact it was actually more than what I had in the first place. But seeing as the cramping stopped, I felt like everything was okay, and eventually, by now 18 weeks, the bleeding has settled right down, and I'm only getting some dark spotting. And yeah, I'm not worried at the moment because I'm feeling baby move. During that whole time between week 16 and 17 and a bit, I didn't feel baby move once, and because obviously I've been feeling her for 2 weeks already since week 14, it was just really, really horrible. It was awful. I was really desperate to feel the baby move, and baby wasn't playing ball basically, and the consultant at the hospital did say maybe baby's just, you know, been finding its feet the last few weeks in there and has finally settled down and got comfy and just decided not to move around so much, that I can feel it. Ever since, they've been so active in there, and the movements feel a lot bigger and stronger now, so it's really, really given me confidence that things are okay. So I've had 16 weeks of bad morning sickness, 2 weeks of hellish flu, and then worried, a week and a half of worried sick with am I losing this baby or not, with bleeding and cramping and everything else in between. So it has been a really horrible few weeks, and I'm finally feeling a lot more on my feet, a lot more confident in this pregnancy. And I wanted to film an update while I felt like that, because beforehand I just haven't wanted to film anything. I didn't even know what to say, like, oh, everything's terrible. But even though it was terrible and it has been awful, I've literally still been just trying to focus on the fact that I'm pregnant and this baby is still going from week to week. So that's what I've been focusing on. As I said in the beginning, like, each day was a small victory that I was pregnant, and now I still feel exactly the same because of all of the stuff that's gone on. Every day that I'm pregnant is a blessing to me, and I just try and soak in each and every day. And that's where I've been, and that's why I haven't done an update. But yeah, I think I'm going to do a bit of a bump shot now, because I do have quite a belly. I don't know if you saw my pregnancy reveal, but I do have a bit of a bump already. So yeah, here's a bump shot. I'm 18 weeks now. My next pregnancy update will be at 20 weeks, and then 22 weeks and 24 weeks and things like that. So I think that will just be a bit more, there'll be more to it in each video, because I'll have a bit more to say, hopefully. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're expecting, do let me know in the comments below. Let me know how far along you are, what symptoms you're having, what you're experiencing at the moment. Have you had any of the weird stuff that I've had? Thought it'd be nice just to have a chat with everyone. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. See you later, guys. Bye bye. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, so you can keep up with me. And I'll see you soon. Bye bye.